Okay, let's share the screen. Share screen. Okay, awesome. So yeah, we can start. Okay, hi everyone. Uh, Thank you for joining this talk. And this is one of the important talk of the series where we are getting started with Kotlin. There are a few things you might will be familiar and will also get to know about the Kotlin. And since this is the fundamental, I'm will be covering the fundamentals of the programming language, okay, which consist of the different methods and different concepts to get started with Kotlin. Okay, so after this session you are able to write the code in Kotlin. If you're already familiar with Kotlin, you will get to know a few and facts here and there in the Kotlin that you might not know or might be know. Okay, so this is the main agenda about this talk and session. And let's start with the introduction about me. So my name is Ankit Kumar, and I'm currently as an Android engineer working in the Gojek, and also I am an Android educator of Google Educator program. So yeah, and this is what we are having. This we are having Kotlin series, the number of Kotlin sessions where we'll be learning about the Kotlin specifically as a programming language. Okay, so I think yeah, let's start with the Kotlin fundamentals. Okay, so in any programming language, when you start learning the programming language, you might find the first very basic, the basic statement or a basic code that you write is hello world, because it's very important to write hello world, because it first give you insight what the language look like, and it's a very simplest form to understand about language, any language. Even if you start with C hash, Java, any language, when you start with the hello world, you got to know a lot already there in that, hello world. Okay, so you might find few interesting thing here. And this talk is also, if somebody is from Java, it's kind of prerequisite if you know the Java, because a lot of the things I will be comparing with Java. Okay, so you can see this is the hello world program. It will print the hello world. Okay, how we are not get to know, just you can see the string hello world. Don't think about anything else. Okay, now let's see the how what the language is here. Okay, let's see the difference from the Java here, right? Because Kotlin is, as I previous explained, Kotlin is kind of extension one version of Java and mixture of other languages as well. Okay, so now now let's start with the code here. You can see this is function main, and then we are printing. This is a print statement to print out this string value. Okay, few things to notice here is that you can see the fun keyword here. Okay, so basically, fun keyword is to declare a function here in the Kotlin, right? Because Kotlin thinks writing programming language or function in Kotlin is fun, right? That's why they introduced the fun as a keyword to declare a function, so that the compiler will understand this, that you are writing a function. Okay. Next thing you can see, the argument, the way of writing parameters of a function is different here. So compared to Java, where you will first write your data type, then your argument name. Here, what we are doing is first we are declaring the parameter name, like variable name first, right? And then after colon, you will declare your data type, whatever data type of you wanted to, have to be that variable, right? It could be a class, it could be anything. In Kotlin specifically, you will not find any inbuilt data type like int, char, those inbuilt. All those things now is kind of object now in the Kotlin. So you can see the writing of array is different. Now array is kind of a class. If you write int or float or string, any built-in data type, it would be a class. So that means it will start with the capital letter. Okay. So you see the parameter, how you can create the variable or parameter in function, first name and then colon after the data type, right? And then you will open and close braces, which will contains the function body, right? And also function is a first class, I always said, because you can use this function to pass as a parameter, or to any function you can return a function as a return type. You can also declare this function at the top of your file, right? You don't have to write function inside a class anymore, because in Kotlin it support both object oriented and function programming. Okay, so you don't have to create function specifically in the class. You can create at the top of the file or your class. So it's the first class in function, like first class in Kotlin. Okay, API wrappers. Okay, so you can see here print ln, right? So now in order to print something, you don't have to write system.out.print, right? In Kotlin you have this println. So this println or other standard functions, it's mostly under the hood is a wrapper classes. Wrapper class is basically using Java APIs, but still create another class. Okay, so you don't have to go with the boilerplate. So you will find a lot of wrapper class in Kotlin standard library. So this is one of them. In order to print something, this is a wrapper class over system out.println. Okay, so you just have to write this println in Kotlin to print something out. Okay, now semicolon, you will not find any semicolon in Kotlin at all. Like not at all, you will find somewhere, but yeah, in the end of this statement you don't have to write semicolon anymore, right? In each statement of your instruction or in Kotlin you don't have to write a semicolon. Okay, I hope this is clear with the function, how the function look like, what the function is. Okay. Okay, awesome. Next thing you guys might notice is that return type. We don't discuss about return type. Where do we put return type? So as you may have guessed, is might not be guessed, but yeah, it is after the function name and parameters you have provided. You will add the return type, right? So what in order to add the return type, what you have to do, you have to add this colon again, and then type of the object, or whatever you want, you have to return it at. Okay, and then accordingly you will return that return type, right, in the function body. Now few more things I wanted to address here. Now we understand return type, right? How you can write return type is basically add the colon and return type, and you can see if here. Okay, now in Kotlin specifically, most of the control structure means if else, switch, if you're coming from Java, for loops, most of the control structure are expression. Okay, so there's a two thing I will be. Okay, let's see if it is. I will be talking about that expression as well. You can see the if here is the expression. That means it can return a value from its close parentheses, close braces or open braces. So you can see here when you add the if and then condition, and you have a. So if here is as an expression. Expression means that this statement will return something. Okay, so if is a expression in Kotlin. So if can return something. So if a is greater than b, then a, that means it's returning a, okay, as a value, and else b, right? So if, remember, if is an expression in Kotlin, so you don't only get if comparison, you will also can return from if, right? So this is, you can see the benefit of if here, like expression, you don't have to write explicitly write return in each if and else. You can just return like this. Okay, so basic structure you understand, right? First you have the function name, then you have parameters, and then return type, and that's then your function body, right? This is the basic structure of function here. Awesome. More simplification where we can do in the Kotlin, what we can do here, if you have single line, like in the same expression you are returning from here, if you are returning and if is an expression, okay, so you don't have to write open and close braces. You can just directly use equal to, right, and then your expression can be a plus b, can be if, can be other expression, and your expression should be a same type or type you are returning. Okay, so remember, if you are returning something of different type, it will show you the error. So be sure that if your expression should be equal to the type of return type that you have written in your function. So this is more simplified version that you can write. Also, yeah, remember I talk about expression. So this is expression body. So expression body where you don't have block body. Block body means in a open and close braces you have multiple statement and then you return it, right? In expression body, when you just have to return expression, a single line, then you use the expression body. This type of function return style is called expression body. Okay. And in the expression body, there is one more feature you will get in expression body, is that you don't have to write a return type anymore here, right? Explicitly, you don't have to define. So there is a analysis and compiler called the type inference. So it will analyze your expression in the expression body. As I said, expression body would be a single line. So it will analyze your expression, right? And then by analyzing this expression, it will identify, okay, this is the type of the expression is returning, and it is think if you are not adding any return type here, it will return make a return type of that expression. So let's say if I'm adding some expression which is returning a double, so automatically this function max would be a return type of double by using this type inference of the compiler analysis. This is a process, a type inference. In the last talk, I also talked about this type inference that also help you to declare a variable without explicitly providing a data type. Okay, I will be describing more into the when I talk about variables in next step, you will get to know about type inference, right? So this is, you can see the power of Kotlin. You don't have to write a return type. Also, you don't have to write open and close braces, right? If you have this kind of expressive body. In the case of a block body, you have to like first of all add the return type, and then you have to provide a return as a keyword, and then you have to return there. So we remember about expression body and what is the block body. Awesome. Right, and now we talk about the variables, right? So what is a variable? If somebody new here, so variables basically, you can see a container, a single piece of data. So you have a memory block, right? In system, you allocate memories to store some values, right? And you, in order to address that memory, you will provide some value to it, like you will add some name to it, right? That's called a variable. Okay. So let's say this is a memory block, and you have name it as a name, right? And you provided some value in it. So name here is just there to show, okay, there is a memory block. How do you address that memory block? By using this name. Okay, so that's the variable name, and that's the value that goes inside that memory is called value. Okay, that's basically a variable is a container. Now when the variable is being used, let's say you have a template that you can use for multiple different peoples. For example, let's say I wanted to write a letter. Okay, so I have made a letter as a template so that it can be used by multiple people. What I did is I just basically give a blank here. Okay, so I give the blank. That means a variable can fit in. Variable is basically something that can change over time. Okay, so I add a variable name and age here. So somebody provide the value to this variable is different with the different persons, right? So name could be Ankit, could be Manish, right? And age can be different. So that's what the variable used for. Okay, now you can see the based on the different name and age, this template will get updated. My name is Megan, and that I have 28 years old, and then Janet, I'm 49 years old. Okay, now these are the basic data types in Kotlin, which is string, int, double, float, and boolean. You can see what kind of data they store, and you can see the literals, how they are basically there. Okay, these are just basic data types. Now defining a variable. So in Kotlin, you have to, okay, as comparison to Java, you don't have to write any val or var. There, what you have to do is basically add a data type and then the variable of that variable, right? Name of that variable. Now here you have to first add a keyword before declaring or defining any variable. So those keywords are val or var. Okay. So val means is basically something, the value that cannot be changed, something like constant. Okay. Use when you expect the variable value will be not change, right? So when you sure that that variable will not change, use val. When you are sure that it would be mutable or it can be changed in the program, use var keyword. Okay. Kotlin highly recommend to use val most of the time. Val. Kotlin says try to use val because the reason is that if your program contains most of the immutable value, which is constant value, that means your output will be guaranteed. It will not change. There's a very low chance to getting the error or something. Okay, so it is recommended to use val here. Okay, But if you wanted to use mutable type, you can use the where keyword. Okay, so how you will define a variable? For defining a variable, you can use this, val and then the name, right? Variable of your name and then data type using the colon. This is the same structure, just like after the val or var, this is the same structure of defining a parameter, right? That we discuss in function. So here name, colon, and the data type. And then you can also declare, like define or provide a value when you are declaring it. So in this case, in the string name, I provide the Megan, and in age, I provided 28, right? All variable must have name, definitely. Like without a variable, you cannot address the memory, right? So name should be there. Next, the type and then value. Put it together. This is how your basically a function and your, this variable creation is look like, right? This is a basic way of, creating a function and variables. Okay, after this running, you will get this output as expected. This there are few things as well, like you can see the strings. So here this is string template. You can use this dollar sign to address a variable, like basically any variable in your function, right? So this dollar sign can use to string interpolation, right? Just like a Java you have plus, right? Here you can use this dollar sign to address that name. Okay, awesome. Now, few things I wanted to address as well. In the Kotlin, let's say you have val, okay, as a constant type you declare, and somebody would say, okay, in Java you have, like, if you wanted to create a constant, you have to provide the value at the time of when you're declaring it. But in Kotlin, what you have also a power, the block where you are creating this message as a val, which is a immutable type. Immutable means cannot change. You can also like assign the value based on some condition. Okay, so let's say you wanted to create a message and there is some condition that you wanted to check and provide the value. This is you can do also, like you don't have to define a value instantly. You can also use condition and then define value. Okay, this will still run. Okay, now after this if else condition, this message cannot be changed further in the program. If you try to change it, the compiler will give you the error. Although message or languages, these are immutable type, but uh, there are a way that inside that immutable type more value can be added. For example, I'm adding an array list of this, creating a list, array list, and then I added more values to the array list. This can still happen, like in the immutable type. If you There are the cases like this can be happen. It's still languages is a immutable that you cannot change the value, but you are able to add more data to it. Okay, so this is also a fine case. In case of val, I'm saying, here I just wanted to understand, give you idea, like how you can define the var or val. You can see the company name, rating, and address in a map. It might be changed, right, based on the different company name. This is a template you see, right? So how would you define val or var? You can see the tabs, direction, call, save, share places. You don't have to change it with the different company name or anything, right? So these are considered as constant, so you can use val there. The places where things can get changed, like you can see the company name, the ratings, here you have to provide the var because it can change over a period of time, right? Just giving you an example how to use var and val. Okay, string formation in Kotlin, basically string templates. Like as I said, you can use dollar here, okay, to access any variable, okay. And if you provide a scape, like you can say, I cannot remember the symbol, like specifically I should provide it, but yeah, if you have escape it, right, if you search on internet with escape it, you will understand. If you provide escape, your dollar will not work as a pointer to this variable. It will be treated as a string, like whole dollar name. So don't use escape. Complex expression also, let's say you want if else, this whole if else part, you can also do it, but you have to change here only, just as add open braces and curly braces. This curly braces, just open and close it, and copy and paste this whole statement, this whole expression, sorry, this whole expression here. It will be work same as this line. Okay, so if you wanted to add more complex expression in string, you are able to do it in Kotlin. Okay, awesome. So far, anyone have any question? Please, I am open to take now. uh, ये वाला. Oh, okay. हम्म. हाँ, श्योर, बिल्कुल. तो okay, in this one, what I trying to say, let's say you wanted to provide a value based on some condition, okay, and if else is the one that you wanted to like, because अगर आपने सिर्फ if लगाया, if you just provided if, there might be chance that it might be cancelled, right? If there is, because condition would get false, right, and message will not be updated, okay. So how will this message will get populated? This is because this is constant, right? Constant had to assign something. So it should be with the if else. So if you have if else condition and you wanted to first check the condition and then wanted to provide the value, this way you can use. Okay. People will normally go for where, right? Where. If I say where, then people will understand, okay, message will update it based on condition, right? But you can, in the Kotlin you got power of still you are able to use well, but it should be the case the value वहां पे मिलनी चाहिए मैसेज को, मैसेज खाली नहीं होना चाहिए. So that's why you have to use if else. Okay. Like you can do it, this the Kotlin says this how you can also able to update message first time, ये एक ही बार काम करेगा, अगली बार में you cannot update it. Okay. हाँ, उसके बाद आप नहीं लगा सकते. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, we can start with the class. So this is what the class look like in Java. Okay, you have person, then you have one property, and then this field basically, and then you have the methods to getter and setters. Right. This is a very basics, way to write properties in Java. And next is that property. Okay. So everyone, I think, is already aware of this part. Now let's talk about in Kotlin how does it look like. So in Kotlin, this is how it looked like. Okay, this is how the same code of this whole class, let's say this is for one property. Okay, we don't normally have one property, we have maybe 10, 15 properties. You can imagine how much long and boilerplate code will be there in the Java. Now in Kotlin you don't have to write those getters setters, right? And you just have to add the new variables here only, that's it, right? This is the power of Kotlin basically. And the classes who only contains do not contains any code or methods, they are only for their value, like only data. Those classes normally get called its value objects. Okay. Now, uh-huh, sure. Mm-hmm. Define नहीं करा. Well can be reassign. अपने फंक्शन के अंदर किया. Okay. This I took even from Kotlin official website. Okay. I'll recheck on this one. Thanks, brother. I will recheck. I will actually personally didn't run this. Yeah, right, I'll recheck this once again. Sorry, I didn't like run this, but yeah, I will check. Thanks, brother. Okay, sure. Let's get started with the classes. So yeah, the classes, the normal classes is only there for data with no code. Those classes you might call as a value object. Okay, in some blog you will see value objects. So value objects basically a class who only contains data, no any code. Okay, now in all the modern JVM languages, you will see this kind of way of writing a syntax. Okay, they will not go with the older way that, oh sorry, they will not go away that the Java was going before. Now all the new JVM language, they will kind of follow this kind of syntax. Okay, so there is not only a Kotlin language who is doing it, like it's not like magic or something that Kotlin did, but there are other languages who did the same. Okay, now so let's talk about this class itself. So you can see there are two variables here, is a name and is married, and these two are only read only properties. Like first is, oh sorry, first is a read only, and then second is a, there's a setter and getters also. Okay, so uh, whenever a variable you created in the Kotlin in a class, it creates a field, I believe, right? And then field will be storing that value. Okay, also these properties are basically also first class. Normally means that first class means that you can use this in anywhere in the Kotlin. It might be return type, parameters, anything you can do with it. Also Kotlin basically hides the Java codes here. Okay, because we all know that Kotlin will get converted into dot classes and all those byte codes. So they hide basically all the implementation code, right, for the getter setters, for the property. Well, I'll be showing you in the next here. Now let's say, because Kotlin is the interoperable with the Java, so you can call Kotlin classes from Java as well. So let's try to call. You can see I try to call this person, right, with the norm Bob as true. Now you can see the property, the getter method here is get name. So in the case of, let's go back, you have this name, right? This name will get like when they apply the Java code, like kind of when they convert into Java, the bytecode, they will add get to your property name when you are calling from Java. Okay, when you're calling from Java class, you will get and then the property name, because the access, okay, this is variables and there are the accessor methods. Accessor methods are getter and setter. So accessor method of name would be get after the name, like the prefix of the name. Okay, then when you wanted to call from Java, this the get name is there, and now you can see is married is there. Why is married? Because when you apply is before any variable name, it will ignore getter as a get, like it will not add prefix get after the, like before the variable. So in case of is, there would be not get is married, there will be only is married as a getter method. When you wanted to set as a method on this married, it will be set married, not is married. Okay, so it is kind of confusing when you call from the Java. So Java, for the name they would be a get name, set name, and for the married there would, it would be is married and then set married. Set would not be changed. Set will be there, but when you are trying to get it, it will be is married. Okay, this is how you are able to access from Java to the same Kotlin class that you have created. Okay, now okay, this is how you can also able to create. I haven't tried added those slides, but you can also able to create getters, setters, accessors in the Kotlin itself. If you wanted to add something, right, in the name, if you wanted to add get method as a accessor, you can also able to do it. Kotlin provide the getter and setters as a accessor, but it is not explicitly providing to you, like you don't have to write getter and setters, but if you wanted to, there is a getter and setters, you can use it. Okay, now enum in Kotlin, so it is very kind of rare in Kotlin that two keywords consecutively are being used to declare something. Okay, but there is something like in enums, there's two consecutive keywords, which is enum and class, to create enum classes. So enum classes basically create a set of variables or constant of same class. Okay, so yellow, red, orange are the enums. There are like there are not much changes from the Java one, but yeah, in the Java people would say don't use enum because of the runtime performance, but in Kotlin they you are able to do it. Like there would be no performance issue at all in Kotlin, so you can easily use enums whenever you required. You know, because there are some sealed classes that you can also use, but sealed classes with the different types, if you wanted to go with the same type, use enums. There would not be any issue of performance anymore. Now enums, this, okay, if you wanted to add properties, you can also able to add. This is how you are able to add. Just with the color, go with the properties, well RGB, and when you are creating the constant or instance, you have to provide the properties values here. Okay, and also if you wanted to add the methods in the enum classes, you are able to do it. The only thing that you need to do is you have to add semicolon here just to differentiate. So this is the, I think, only place where Kotlin is uses semicolon, okay, as a language. So you add semicolon and then you add your methods, method name, whatever function you wanted to create. Okay, and now this is how you are able to basically run that method, that color dot blue and then RGB. Okay, now as I said, there is a when also in Kotlin. So when is like a switch, okay, in Java. So you have this enum, right, and you wanted to get the, based on the what type of event, sorry, what type of enum is there, you will get the whatever data is there. So in this example I wanted to try understand you guys, when is also is like expression. As I said, most of the control structure in Kotlin is expression. That means it will return something, right? So that you can see, you have a single expression here. I haven't add any return type here because it's a expressive bodies, right? You remember the concept of expressive bodies, that you don't have to write open and curly braces. Like I added open curly braces for when only, like not for the function. Or you also don't have to write a return type here because of compiler type inference analysis. It will analyze, okay, it want to send a string type here. Okay, so it will automatically says, okay, this type of, the type of this function would be a string, right? And also you will see, you will find out few more things here. So in when there is no break statement, as like in switch, right? In Java there's a, you have to write break, right? In Kotlin, when you don't have to write break anymore. Okay, and also this uh, type of statement or expression that we are sending out, uh, you can cannot, you cannot, you may or may not write the curly braces, right? You have, let's say you have multiple statement that you wanted to execute before returning this, you have to use the curly braces. If you have single expression, you just have to just return it. You don't have to write curly braces for each one. Okay, and there are multiple cases in when you can also not only use this object, you can use any kind of object, and right, and then you can also evaluate expression like is and 1 plus 2 equal to 0. You can also write those expression in when. So you can explore when a lot. When is very useful. Okay, let's say you wanted to send Richard with the red, orange, or yellow. Let's say you wanted to send Richard only. So you can add comma and then add this color orange after that, and that whenever red or orange comes, Richard will be sent as a return as a type. Okay. So this is all thing you can do with the when in Kotlin. Loops in Kotlin, there are same loops, but there are few differences. So let's talk about the do while and while. Do while and while basically, guys, is same as Java. There is no update in that. While there are some in the for loop there are updates, but do while and while there is no update. It will be working same as in the Java, right? The expression, the way of writing or syntax is also same. There would not be any change. For for loops, okay, so it will go with the ranges. So in for loop, you don't have anymore that int is equal to 0 and then colon and then there is some conditions. I equal to 10, oh sorry, smaller than 10, then plus plus 1, that you don't have anymore in for loop. It will only go with the ranges and progression. So it will, this is how it will run the loop. It will go with the ranges. So in order to add the range, like from start to end, you have to use this operator dot dot. Okay, so 0 to dot dot 10, it will print out from 0 to 10 inclusive, like 10 will be there, 10 will not left out. Okay, you have, I have also written down this second example of writing the loop. So if you wanted to go from 10 to 1, so you have to write down like this: I in 100 down to 1 step, or step 2 is like decreasing 2 and 2, like taking step 2 by 2. Okay, this is how you are able to write code in for loop, right, in this manner. There are like two or three examples you need to understand, because most of this example is able to cover all your logic here. If you wanted to go from, as an index, you can use while, and in order to go with the ranges from 0 to 10 you wanted to print out, you can use this one. And also you can use uh, this with the step as well, like from I wanted to go from 0 to 10 with step of 2, that means 2 4 6 8. So you can use combination of these. Just remember about this one, this progression, and this down to and step. And until people use, when you normally go with the, I wanted to start from 0 to size minus 1, right, that you will wanted to use, go with the until. Okay, so here 0 dot dot 10 as a range will be print 10, but until will only print 9, 0 to 9 only. Okay, so until like size minus 1. So these are some cases. Also, if you wanted to loop through a map, tree map, or kind of things, you have to do it like this way: in and then collection. Collection could be tree, array list, right? So this is how, and these are the expose package. In this next session, like I will be explaining about more. What is this expand package or something like this? So this is key value pair in this binary wrap. So binary wrap is basically a tree or hash map, and this is key value pair. Okay, so this is how you are able to iterate through collection, like tree map or array list, using for. Last topic is about, this is about exceptions. So exception is also most of us similar, but yeah, there are few more improvement that Kotlin did here. Is that, first of all, this is first is look like, let's see how try catch is finally look like, the try and then catch. And then finally you know the concept, right? Try will be try to run this code. If there is any some error comes, it will catch in the catch. And then finally, like either error get catch or not, finally will be run. There is no chance that finally will not run, finally will be run in each time. Okay, few things that is there. Now let's say in the read line, okay, normally if you write code in Java, you will get, you have to add throw IO exception here, right, in your function, because it's a checked exception. They said that read line is throwing IO exception. So whatever class or function, sorry, whatever function is using this read line has to throw that IO exception as well, right, and handle it somewhere. But in Kotlin, they will know, say, okay, if some class throwing some exception, some function throwing some exception, you don't have to write add new throw here. Okay, so like that is being removed here. So now you don't have to fully forcefully say throw this exception for your function as well, right? So that is not the case in Kotlin now anymore. You don't have to write throw rethrow again, basically. Okay, now this is how it look like. Okay, and we go with the, now try is also is kind of expression in Kotlin. So try can also able to return a value, basically. So as I explained the expression, so you can, when you write integer at parseint with in the open and close braces. So yeah, in the try you have to write this open and close braces. You cannot just try and then remove this, and then if you have only single line, you don't have to write in braces. No, you have to write this curly braces, right? There is no chance, it's forcefully explicit that you have to write this curly braces even though you have single line. Now this is being returned. So last statement of your try catch block will be used as a return type. Okay, so in this case this is a int type. If there is no return type, then I think they have um, unit, yeah, unit as a type, as a return type. Now in this case, return here is basically is not mean returning to number, it's mean returning from this function. Okay, so if you have catch, last statement of that block will also consider as a result that you wanted to send in this number. So instead of return, let's say I added 0 here, just 0. So if it caused this number format exception, it will return 0 to this number and number will be get print. But here now, since it's a return, it will go number. If exception comes, it will not print anything, it just return from this function. Okay, this is what the return here means. Yeah, I think, yeah, previous slide. So it will throw, and if you don't catch it, then definitely it will show you the terminate the program. Yeah, termination means, yeah, it's crash. It's crash. But we know that it's a all, since we are using parsing, then only it only be a number format exception here. You can also use journal exception as exception here if you wanted to like catch everything you wanted to. I think, yeah, that's it from my side from this talk. I hope you guys learned something new, maybe 10%, 20% or something. Yep, I'm open to take any questions from this talk. Thank you so much, guys. And also, these I have added few references here. This is Kotlin official website. Then there is a Kotlin weekly. So you can, okay, this Kotlin weekly is important if you wanted to get updated every week about something. Somebody created a new library on Kotlin or some new update comes up. So you will get in your email uh, on the Kotlin. Okay. For example, like Android weekly is there. So every week somebody posted new post, they made some new library or video is there. You will get update, right? Like Android weekly. So you have Kotlin weekly as well. And this is last one is a Kotlin source code. So basically your Kotlin is open source on the JetBrains webs like GitHub. So you can go and see the Kotlin and maybe contribute to it if you have some idea or something. Yeah, that's it from my side. If you have any question, guys, I'm not going to take. I think nobody has any question. I think everybody has understood everything, right? That's amazing. हाँ हाँ दीपक जी. वो actually I wanted to because field class is very good concept. Like people will, I wanted to, because हमारे पास टाइम थोड़ा कम था and I wanted to explain lot of different topics. अभी ये उस पे जाता तो it might be go around 1 hour or 1 point some hour. So सब लोग बोर भी हो जाते थोड़ा सा, तो that I don't want to do. Seal classes in the next sessions definitely is there because it's a huge topic and it's very important topic nowadays in the Android specifically. Okay. Hmm. Sure, sure. मैं समझ रहा हूँ आपकी दिक्कत. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a valid question. So I'll try to do with the application as well. Like next time से जब मैं करूँगा. Thank you for this feedback. But few things like for example, somebody would say कि यार मैं if use करूँ कि when use करूँ because both are expressions, right? Both can return, right? सो उस केस में मैं ये बोलूंगा बेस्ड ऑन द रीडेबिलिटी ऑफ योर कोड, जो कोड जैसा बंदे को रीड कर सकता है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आप मे बी अपने फेलो डेवलपर से पूछ सकते हो कि यार मैं वेल लगाऊंगा तो आर यू एबल टू रीड इट बेटर, बिकॉज देयर वुड नॉट बी एनी परफॉर्मेंस चेंज. ओके, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कॉटलिन सेज अगर आप इफ से करते हो चेक करके रिटर्न कुछ करते हो या वैन से करते हो, परफॉर्मेंस में ऐसा कुछ चेंज नहीं आने वाला. इट्स जस्ट रीडेबिलिटी. Right, right. I understand that point. So yeah, most of the time, let and apply is more useful, right? So people will go with that one. There's no issue. But people will say, okay, the why with like is there, right? Or other run is there, right? Those are theirs. So that I try to explain in the other sessions.